Hello. Hello, everybody. So join me, please. Say hello in your comments. I would be very glad to see all of you. So yeah, join. Say hello to everybody. I know that we are already like one big family on Fridays. Yeah, meet each other. Okay, I see your highs. Good evenings. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here today. So you can also text me a little bit how you're doing, how your day was. So I'll be glad to know a little bit about that. Okay, familiar names. That's great. The same people. I think it's cool that you keep joining every time. So I hope you find something interesting. All right. So I think some people are already here, more to join, and we will begin anyway. So today we are going to speak about a pretty interesting topic, which is environment and geography, and also we'll speak about conditionals, which may be easy for some of you, and for other students they are always as a nightmare. But today I hope we will try to deal with them, and maybe you will see that it's not that hard. So guys, I really encourage you, if you still don't get something while we are discussing conditionals, feel free to text in the chat. I'm always reading to it, so I will be able to help you in some way. And now let's start. So here we have an example of a conditional sentence. So if I'm tired, for example, I listen to music. Or you can say, if I'm tired, I sleep. Or if I'm tired, I decide not to study. So in any way, that would be a conditional sentence, which consists of if clause, where you present some condition. So if I am tired, I do one thing. If I'm happy and full of energy, I do another thing. Yeah, some people already guessed what it is. And then we have our result clause. So it always depends on the if clause. So in if we put some condition, result clause will always happen according to what is placed in the if clause. And some of you already said that it's zero conditional, which is completely right. So tell me, please, this action, if I am tired, I listen to music. Do I mean right now, in the future, in the past, or when exactly it happens? So any ideas in the comments? And while you are writing, I will already start answering. So zero conditional is about facts that kind of always true or generally true. Yes, exactly. Paulina, Maria, all of you, you mentioned it right. So yesterday, today, tomorrow, meaning always. If something happens, something else happens. So it shows general dependencies, general relations between one fact and another. For example, if it is winter, we wear some warm jackets as a rule every winter, right? And if it is summer, we usually wear t-shirts and maybe sandals, again, as a rule. Yeah. So now another sentence. If I study hard, I will pass the exams with flying colors. You probably know that with flying colors means perfectly. So what conditional is it? If I study hard, I will pass the exams with flying colors. So that is first conditional. Yes, exactly. And what period of time do we mean saying that? If I study hard, I will pass the exams. It's about future. Yes. So if I study hard, meaning from this point and up to the future, I will pass the exams. But we do not use will in the first part in if clause. Just remember that. We'll come back to it. Okay. If I had more time, I would prepare better for the exams. So logically, we can guess that it's second conditional. What time are we describing here? Again, is it about future, present, past? If I had more time, I would prepare better for the exams. Is it past, guys? So actually, no. Here, we mean present or even future, but usually something opposite to the reality. So let's imagine, for real, I have not enough time or I don't have enough time. Now, we imagine the opposite situation, we twist the situation, and if I had that time, but I don't, I would prepare better for the exams. Yeah, so we speak about unreal situations that may happen right now or which are not true right now or could theoretically happen in the future, but they won't because it's unreal. So, for example, if I won in a lottery, I would buy a car. But for real, I don't even take part or play in lotteries. So, do I have chances to win it? I really doubt. Or if I were, let's say, a cat, I would sleep all day long. But am I a cat for real? No, I am human. So we present situations which are not real or which are opposite to current reality in second conditional. Yeah. So not in the past, in present or in the future. So for example, if I won a lottery, like theoretically in the future, but I don't play in lottery, so that's why like I have no chances for that. If I were a millionaire, I would buy a flat, but we are not millionaires and we cannot buy a flat, at least at this point of our life. Yeah. Okay, and the last one. If I had attended all English classes, I wouldn't have missed that grammar topic. So here it's third conditional, and here we speak about situations opposite but to the past. So that's the main difference between second and third conditional. Second represents something opposite to reality, which happens or may happen, and third conditional presents something opposite to the past, something that we cannot change in any ways. So that is third conditional. If I had attended all classes in English, but I didn't. So even for real, I didn't do that in the past. Or, for example, if my phone hadn't been stolen, but for real, it was stolen in the past, I wouldn't be that careful right now. Now I made it mixed, but never mind. So here, you need to remember that we use, let's keep this slide, it's too easy. We use zero conditional when we speak about things that are always or generally true. So we speak about facts or habits which were true yesterday, are true today, and will be true tomorrow. So generally. For example, if the sun shines, snow melts. General rule. The law of physics, right? Or when I come to my granny, anytime, she usually cooks borscht. So it happens all the time, every time I visit her, not only in the future. If you have a headache, take some painkillers. Again, general advice for any situation when you suffer from a headache. First conditional is used for possible future situations. So that's the difference between first and second, that first is for possible situations and second is for something which is not likely to happen. So if it rains tomorrow, we won't go on a picnic. So do I mean general rule or only future event? Only future, because I clearly say tomorrow, yeah? But can we say if it will rain? Because come on, it's in the future. No, we can't. Just remember, if and will never stay together. Yeah. So, якщо йтиме дощ, ми не підемо на пікнік. Clear future situation, but no will in English language. Just remember that. Okay, if you don't wear warm clothes, you may get a cold. Again, for the future, the only moment here you changed will for may. So tell me, please, which word gives us more chances for the situation to happen? You will get a cold or you may get a cold? If we say you will get a cold, it's like 100% sure that not wearing warm clothes, you get cold. But if we say you may, so you have chance to get it, or maybe you will be lucky enough and you will stay healthy there. Exactly. So may is like maybe yes, maybe no. Also, you can say you can get a cold, or maybe you won't do that. But with saying will, it happens 100%. Okay, so second conditional is used to present present or future situations which are hypothetical or unlikely to happen. Again, imagine that you take the reality, twist it to the opposite side, and that is your second conditional. Okay, so if can be after will, but it's a different situation then. Okay, you give me an example and we will discuss that, but now let's focus on conditionals. So if I won $1 million, imagining right now, this second, or maybe next month in the future, I would buy a flat, but I don't see real chances for winning it. So that is opposite to reality. Okay. If Anne didn't study so much, but for real, she studies right now so much, she could come to the party tonight, but she won't come because she studies. So for real, she studies. She is not coming there, but opposite, if she didn't study, she could or she would come. Okay, third conditional is used when we speak about hypothetical, meaning unreal imaginary situations in the past, or even some regrets about what happened, imagining how could it be if it happened differently. If you'd phoned me yesterday, I would have helped you. This D, what does it stand for? Who can tell me? If you'd phoned me yesterday. So this shortening and D, what is that? Had, exactly. So if you had phoned me yesterday, I would have helped you. Exactly. Okay, якби ти вчора мені зателефонував, я би тобі допоміг. But for real, you didn't phone me and I didn't help you. So two situations already happened. Now we imagine how it would be if both of them happened differently. Yeah. And if I had followed my dreams, but obviously I didn't, I would have become an artist. But again, did I become an artist for real? No, I didn't. But we express some regrets. If I had followed my dreams, yeah? Okay, so then in the pinned messages, you have the link for this chart where you can see why we are using them. So again, the same that we just discussed. If you want, you can scan the QR code, look at it somewhere later. But I hope I discussed everything there. Again, if any questions to me about something I told you, you're welcome to text in the chat. Meanwhile, let's move on. So here, a little bit of practice. You need to choose the correct form. So number one, if we don't or didn't make an effort to reduce global warming, the effects will be devastating. So I can tell you that this will should be pretty helpful. And I already see that you say correctly that the answer is, I'm sorry, 1 second. That the answer is don't, right? So if I don't make an effort to reduce global warming, the effects will be devastating. So what conditional is it? first conditional, because it is real, we should make some effort. But the scenario when we don't make it can happen for real. So number 2, more and more dolphins will or would die if we don't stop polluting the sea. You already say that it's will, and that is completely right, because it can happen in the future, for real. So it's not some imaginary situation. The ecological crisis is there, like really close. Okay, number 3. Would you still have played in the match if you had known or would know you would lose? So number 3 is had known, exactly, because it already happened. You played in the match, you lost, but you didn't know about that. But what if you knew? But what if you had known even? So we imagine something that already happened, but what if it would be? What if it had been differently? Oh my God. Okay. Number 4, I already see some correct answers. If we had listened to the weather forecast, we wouldn't have set sail this morning. So tell me, please, for real, did we listen to the weather forecast? Did we listen to it or not? No, we didn't. But if we had listened, something would have happened differently. I already see answers for number 5. The lake wouldn't be so polluted if it weren't for the factory. Is it polluted? Yes, it is. So it's second conditional, which represents something opposite to the real situation. For real, the lake is polluted, unfortunately. But if it wouldn't, yeah, it would be better. Yeah. And number 6, we might have drowned, or we might drown in the Coast Guard, if the Coast Guard hadn't arrived without delay. We might have drowned, exactly. So luckily we are alive, ми не втонули. But the chance was, if not the Coast Guard, but luckily they arrived on time and everything's fine. Okay, so it seems like you do it nicely. Now again, look at those 2 sentences. I think you already can say that if you will never works. Even if you really want to say something like that, for example, якщо я зустріну тебе завтра, you still say if I meet you tomorrow. Or for example, якщо я буду зайнята, but you still say if I am and not will be busy. So if I am busy, I won't meet you. Just remember. So we don't use will or would in conditional sentences with if clause. We use will or would only in the main or result clause, right? So then, here I have a pair of sentences. Your task is to tell me which one looks correct. Or maybe 2 of them are correct, or maybe 2 of them have some troubles. So, your ideas? I'd give Julia the money if she asked me. Or, if she asked me, I'd give her the money. So do they look correct? Someone says B is correct. And what about A? Can't we start from result clause? Yeah, so both seem correct, and that's completely right. So it doesn't matter if we use the result clause or if clause first. Yeah, you may switch them in any order. For example, if I had some time, I would call you. I would call you if I had some time. No difference at all. Okay, here, if he was a millionaire, Jane would marry him. if he were a millionaire, he would donate a lot of money to charity. So again, you say B is correct. And what about A? Can't we say if he was? So actually, two of them are correct, but let me explain that. So in second conditional, as we see in the rule, we can use was, and were for I, he, she, it. So usually we say, I were at home yesterday, but if I were, usually we say I was at home, right? But in conditionals, generally we use were for I, he, she, it. So if it's a real situation, imaginary situation, you use were instead of was. But modern grammar, especially I would say in the US, they freely use was, and that's not a mistake. So my advice, if you are taking some test, for example, then you'd rather use were, because it's like old British grammar rules, and they are like a good gold standard. But if it comes to everyday speech, you can freely use both was and were. If it's some informal writing, again, you can use both of them. Illusion of choosing. Okay, that's funny. So yeah, were is grammatically correct, no doubts. Was is also possible, completely possible. The question in the second sentence, D, would or had. Okay, guys, let's look here and you help to answer this question. If she asked me, I'd give her the money. Is it I would or I had? So what do you think? It's would. Why so? I can help you, because if we had, even forgetting about conditionals, had requires the third form, and would requires bare infinitive there. Yeah, so I had given her money, for example, before she spent them for jewelry. I had given, but I would give. So would has bare infinitive after, and had the third form of the verb. Now you know. And also, would goes for the result clause, and in if we use the rest of it. But still, thank you for your question. So the last pair of sentences here, again, tell me which is wrong, which is right. Okay, both seem to be right. B is right. Okay, so A actually is correct. And B is not really. Why so? Because of comma. So when we have if clause first, then we separate those clauses using comma. But if we have if in the middle of the sentence, you don't need that comma there. So again, in written English, you put a comma between if clause and the result clause, but you don't use it when if stands in the middle of the sentence. So usually that's how it works in English. If you have some word that connects to parts of the sentence, you may not need that comma there. And it works with if. So now let's try practicing a lot. So here you need to decide which form of the verb to use. I recommend you do it like that. You say number one and then open two brackets in number one. You say number two and then open two brackets. So let's do it step by step, but two verbs in each pair. Again, давайте домовимося, що ми пишемо один номер і дві відповіді, дві розкритих дужки, які є в цьому реченні. And then we move on to the second sentence. So I'm waiting for the answers to number one. I absolutely love traveling. When I enough money, I something abroad. I do it a few times a year. Okay. I do it a few times a year. So it looks like regular action for me. So when I have enough money, I go abroad, usually as a rule. So it's zero conditional, completely right. Thank you for your comments. Number 2, nobody here speaks English. Too bad Alex isn't with us. If he, some gap here, he, some gap, translate for us. So Alex isn't here, but if, so what should we use? I see first answers. Nikita, is there something else which is possible? Okay, let's check. So if he were or was, as you said, here, he could translate for us. So it's second condition. We imagine something which is not real right now. So was and were, was are possible here, no problems. Okay, number 3. I, something, and A for the test, if I, again, remember all those dates. Instead, I got a B. I really should have studied more. So for real, you got B. What conditional is it? And what form should we use there? Waiting for your number 3. I would have got, or I might have got, I really like that option, Paulina. An A for the text, if I had remembered all those dates. Instead, I got B. So that is third conditional, regrets about something which didn't happen. And yeah, I really like the option I might, because it's only theoretically possible, right? Even knowing all the dates, it doesn't guarantee that you would got that A. Number 4, if he, a car, it some read difficult for him to get to work on weekdays. Okay, again, let's think carefully. Is it about past, present? It's about present, but opposite to real, which is second conditional, right? So if he didn't have a car, it would be difficult for him to get to work. Does he have a car for real or not? So guys, does he have a car or not? Yes, of course, he has a car, so we imagine the opposite situation. All right, number 5. Stop asking me what Tom bought you for your birthday. Even if I gap what he bought you, I gap it anyway. Okay, that is second conditional. Even if I knew, but I don't, what he bought you, I wouldn't tell it anyway. Exactly. And the last one, number 6. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were allergic to strawberry. If I gap, I, another gap, you, another cake. Pay attention, I didn't know you were allergic to strawberry. So, is it about current or past events? What is the context? So exactly, if I had known, so if I had that knowledge in the past, but I didn't, I would have made you another cake. But for real, I didn't know, and I actually made that cake. Yeah, so it's past event. We express our regrets. Third conditional. Sometimes we may replace if with different words. So here are just some of them, but not all. Sometimes we can use unless, which means if and not. So you can say, for example, if I'm not full of energy, I prefer to sleep. Or instead of saying if I am not, you can say unless I am, positive sentence, full of energy, I prefer to sleep. Or like here, we will go on a picnic unless it rains, meaning if it doesn't rain. So unless plus positive sentence is the same that if and negative sentence. Also, we can use some words like provided or providing, sometimes with that, or as long as, or as soon as, or on condition that. And all of them are used only with real conditionals. What are real? Not second and not third, right? Because second and third are about imaginary hypothetical situations. And here are some examples. I'll pass probably an exam, providing I get at least 80 points. So providing, it's like за умови, якщо, or I'll pass only if I get at least 80 points. So лише якщо в мене буде 80 плюс, я пройду. But if I have even 79, I won't pass. So only if, лише за умови. Providing, again, за умови. So here is like very clear condition. Also, we can use words like supposing or suppose, let's say, imagine. And here, as you probably can guess, we use them with hypothetical conditionals, which are number 2 and number 3. Supposing you were famous, what would you do? Допустимо або уявімо, yeah, that you were famous, but you aren't for real. Well, maybe you are, who knows? That's the same that if, but it presents only imaginary situations. Also, we say, what if, sometimes, and it's a very cool phrase that can replace almost half of a sentence. So what if can be easily used instead of what would happen or what will happen or what would have happened if blah, blah, blah. So you make it much shorter. And you can say, what would have happened if you had missed your flight? Or you can just say, what if you'd missed your flight? Much shorter, right? So that's like a very nice trick to shorten your conditional sentence. What if? It's the same that what would have happened. А що якби? Що було б якби? Something like that. Okay, so now let's choose the correct option in each of them and move on to the next topic. So I'll join you at the party, providing or unless I work late. We can also use in case, yes, of course. For example, in case you're scared, call me. If you are scared, call me, of course. Also, we can use as soon as, after, before, and lots of other words. Okay, here I see first answers. Unless I work late. So if I don't work late, I will join you at the party. Number 2, my parents allow me to go out late as long as, or supposing, I text them where I am. Supposing, imaginary situation, or real situation, actually. As long as. So, поки вони знають, де я є, yeah, they let me go out. And supposing, it's like, let's imagine that I texted my parents, but for real, I don't. It's not our option. Number 3, you got to start studying if or you'll fail all those exams. Or, so we haven't even discussed it, but I think the meaning is clear. You got to start studying, or can be used instead of unless, but in the, okay, you will fail all those exams. Number 4, it's okay, we can get the bus if, unless we miss the train. If we miss the train, yeah, we can get the bus. Number 5, providing or supposing you found a wallet with $5,000, what would you do? Supposing. So допустимо, уявимо, and not providing, like за умови. And the last one, number 6, I wouldn't have lost the game if, unless I trained more. If I'd trained more, exactly. Okay, so now let's do one task. Here you have the text where you should fill in all the gaps. So again, let's try doing it very quickly. I'm waiting for your answers even before I read the sentence. So let's go. And I see first answers. So number 1, supposing you, imaginary situation, right? It's B. Supposing you heard. Якби ти почув. What would your reaction be? So it's second conditional. Not had heard in the past, but you heard kind of now. Якби ти почув. What would your reaction be? Okay. Number 2. Have you ever wondered that? Number 2. Okay, have you ever wondered what would happen, що би трапилося, if a volcano erupted in an area near you? So that is D. If volcano erupted here, past simple, but the first is result clause, so just would. Okay, number 3. Guys, mention numbers because I may be confused. So what's number 3? This volcano has a history of violent eruptions, and if it were to erupt once again, again, theoretical situation, it would cause huge tsunamis. Yeah. Number 4, it is believed that if scientists something this volcano in detail, they will gain an insight. So number 4, with will. If scientists study present simple and then will for first conditional, exactly. Okay, number 5. If the findings reveal useful information, scientists number 5. Will gain. So, if the findings reveal, якщо дослідження виявлять корисну інформацію, науковці отримають краще розуміння. So, just remember, in first conditional and in zero conditional, if is translated like якщо, second and third, it's якби. So, for real conditionals, it's якщо виявлять, and second, third, якби виявили, right? Okay, and what about number 6? I think it's time to place something there. If more research in the past, passive voice, guys, had been conducted, not провели, but були проведені. дослідження, right? Because it's passive. They cannot conduct themselves. They are conducted. So if they had been conducted, and there's some result. So speaking of volcanoes and some other disasters, we proceed to the second part of our lesson, nature, climate, geography, and now you are asked to group those words into three categories: natural disasters, energy, and pollution. So you're welcome. There is no such word as volcano eruption, виверження вулкана, but there are some more. So there you go. Again, try to write them group by group and not just separate words. So firstly, let's focus on natural disasters. Do you see any? In the chat, please. Okay, there are first answers: hurricane, earthquake, drought, and avalanche, lavina. So I can translate them for you. Ураган, earthquake, землетрус, avalanche, lavina, like snow, lots of snow, and drought or sucha, засуха. Okay, let's focus on energy now. So what can be related to energy? Again, use commas, send one message. If you're still writing the first one, just send it as it is, not finished, that's all right. I'll still get it. Okay, so energy. Solar panels, but please do not send one word, send more of them. Okay, solar panels, fossil fuels, coal, renewable sources. Сонячні панелі, fossil fuels. It's викопні види палива, if I say it correctly. Coal is one of them, like вугілля. Also we have oil, нафта, gas, and renewable sources, відновлювальні ресурси, such as water or wind. So you know that, for example, windmills can work only using the power of wind. That's why they are renewable. Nice. And pollution is obvious here. So we have waste dump, like звалки, сміттєві звалища, acid rains, кислотні дощі, fumes, I may be correct with the term, but вихлопні гази, correct me, and toxic waste, токсичні відходи from different factories, plants, and so on. So those words will be added to you in Quizlet. So you're welcome to scan this QR code, or you can scroll up to our chat list. Oh, it's pinned in your comments, so you can open Quizlet environment and check those words later. I've added something like 50 of them, so I think it would be pretty useful. Yeah. Okay, thank you for your nice translations like dim chat. So can be, but also it's something that is emitted from cars. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I hope you scanned. If not, again, the link is pinned in the chat. You can find it anytime you need it. And time to move on. So here are some popular collocations. Remember what collocations are? Like words commonly used together. And your task is to guess what is the first word in each of those word combinations. So let's start. If it weren't for their some effect, the world would be a colder place. So what stops our world from cooling? Greenhouse effect, парниковый effect. Yes, of course, nice work. Number 2, could renewable energy sources slow down the rate of some change? What change can we observe recently? Climate change. You forgot letter E, but that's all right. Exactly. Number 3, hurricanes, landslides, and earthquakes are all examples of natural. Guys, don't forget letter E in your climate. Disasters, природні лиха, природні катастрофи. Number 4, if the hole in the some layer does not decrease in size, it will no longer protect the Earth from ultraviolet rays. Yeah, so it's ozone layer, ozоновый шар, obviously. Number 5, more people should install some panels on their roofs, especially in countries where there is a lot of sunshine. Again, guys, in ozone, there is E in the end. So climate with E, ozone with E, keep it in mind. Solar panels, сонячні панелі. And number 6, global warming, глобальне потепління. So all of those things are interrelated and influence our planet mostly in a negative way, maybe except for solar panels, which should be installed as much as possible. Now let's focus more on natural disasters, природні лиха, and now I will ask you to write the names of them. So what can be number 1? 2 words are possible depending on the region where it happens. So what's number 1? And you can write all of them in a row, so it's not a problem. Tsunami, agree, or also can be typhoon or hurricane. So here is hurricane. Why not? Well, actually, we can see kind of tsunami because there is a big wave. But yeah, all of them are possible. Storm, tsunami, hurricane, typhoon. Yeah. Typhoons mostly happen in Asian region, while hurricanes mostly happen in all around America. And tornado is number 2. Yes, that's right. Number 3. And of course, it can be called a storm because there is a strong wind with probably some rain and so on. So number 3, global warming. Not exactly, but I agree it's possible. Global warming causes this phenomenon and it influences some areas a lot. Overwarming, kind of that. So it's called a heat wave. Rapid increasing of temperatures, which can affect some areas, and then like everything there is literally dying. Number 4. So heat wave, yeah, like extremely hot temperature that covers some specific area. Number 4, drought, exactly. So no water, no rains for a long time. And number 5, again, you may have some ideas. Maybe a few words are possible, maybe even more. So lightning, it is, but lightning itself is not a natural disaster. Well, maybe it is. Okay. Thunderstorm, like гроза, грозовий шторм. Lightning, like блискавка. Storm itself, thunder, like грім. This sound, all of them can work there. So now there is a description of one of those disasters. Try to guess what it is. So A is number 3. Yes, it is. Extended period of high temperatures, heat wave. Okay, B. So B, you say it's number 2, is it? Or number 5? It is number 5. Yeah, so rain plus lightning altogether is usually a thunderstorm. Okay, C. So what is C? Rotating columns of air. Of course, it's tornado. Yeah. Okay, the next, powerful windstorms. That is 1, hurricane, and then logically E, which is drought. Yeah, so no rains for a long time. Okay. Now let's do some reading. So here are some tips for that. We will read different paragraphs and we will try to guess what they are about and choose from the given options. So firstly, we read the paragraph and try to get the main idea. Then we read the questions and we see if something matches. After that, we choose the best option, of course, and cross it out from the list. But sometimes you may have a few ideas, so it's okay to put question marks at this stage. But after you completed all the tasks, you check if the remaining answers do not match better than something that you have already chosen. And today's text is, of course, about environment and some problems there. So you have just received a link for the whole reading task. You may open it from the chat or you can scan the QR code as you wish. And I will show just the parts of the task so we can work with them. But again, you are welcome to scan it or to open the link. It just appeared in your comments. Okay, so let's go here. That's just the first paragraph. So you need to choose if this place A, B, C, and so on till H. So let's start reading it. Once you feel like you have an answer, you're welcome to place it in the comments. Let's go. So the Butterfly Center is located at Callaway Gardens in Pine Mountain. The main attractions here are the colorful butterflies which fly freely around the grass enclosure. The Butterfly Center has earned LEED certification for its environmental friendliness and energy efficiency, which is impressive for a building that must maintain tropical conditions year-round in a temperature climate. So, any ideas? If it's about some oasis in the middle of a public transport center, if it replicates some cold ecosystem. Okay, I see first answers. So let's check probably. Or you would like to comment? And that is E, exactly. So how can we understand that? We have this sentence that the Butterfly Center has earned LEED certification for its environmental friendliness and energy efficiency. So of course it's about economical energy consumer. Okay, then paragraph 2 or 31 according to the numbering in the text. Arguably the greenest venue on our list. The Phillips Conservatory in Pittsburgh has recently built a tropical forest conservatory. The new greenhouse uses modern ventilation, okay, I see first answers, radiant heating, and computer-controlled shading and fogging to create a tropical environment. So, let's check. Letter F, yes, for sure, it's maintained by advanced technical equipment. So what technical equipment it is about? Modern ventilation, earth tubes, radiant heating, yeah, all of that is високотехнічне обладнання. Good job, guys. And the last paragraph from 3 that we are discussing today, tropical greenhouse dome in Tokyo. So this large greenhouse complex in Tokyo was originally built on land reclaimed from a site used for waste depositing. There are usually 3 domes and an additional exhibit space where rare species of carnivorous plants are housed. Highlights include a fern forest, an indoor waterfall, orchid gardens from the subtropical islands. Okay, first answers are there, and you say it's G, located on a former rubbish dump. Yes, that's right. So former rubbish dump, колишнє сміттєзвалище, and it is built on a land used for waste depositing. На землі, яка використовувалась для зберігання відходів. So, this is completely right. Nice attention. Good job, guys. Okay. Then a little bit more of geography in the time that left. So here we see some beautiful natural objects. Your task is to tell me what they are. So again, you can just use comma and list all of them, or you can write like 1, send the message 2, and so on as you wish. Number 1 is a waterfall. Exactly. Number 2, a few options can be there. So you're welcome with your suggestions. Mountain river. Why not? Possible. Also, it can be a stream, strumok. So we never know if it's a stream or a river. But yeah, so river with big rocks, I like that as well. So river or a stream. Stream like strumok, potik. Yeah. Number 3, canyon. Yeah, what else can it be? Number 4, again, a few options are possible. So I'm waiting for all of them. It's a peak. What else? A mountain? Yes, it is. It's a cliff. All right, so here I have the word mountain, but also if we speak about this high top of the mountain, it's a mountain peak, вершина. Also, here it's definitely a cliff, скеля, which usually have this steep edge, like з крутими боками. So all of them are working. Number 5. What can it be? Number 5. Again, mountains. Mountain range is a good name for a set of mountains that are standing close to each other. So, for example, Hoverla is a mountain or is the highest peak in Carpathians, in Ukrainian Carpathians, and mountain range, we can call like all these Carpathians like one mountain range or different parts of Carpathians, which consist of different mountains, as a mountain range. Okay, and number 6, forest, jungle. Yeah, but there is one better word, rainforest as well. So rainforest is a good name for тропичный лес. So that's a rainforest. Okay, now it's time for you to put those words. Here I have even more in the correct gaps. So here you may see some new words. So you'll have to guess a little bit. Number 1, Italy lies on a... What do you think? On an island? No, Italy is not an island. It's like semi-island, but English has another word for that. So, coastline, range, oh my God, no, okay, I will help you. So that is peninsula. So just remember that island is ostrov, but peninsula is not Piv-ostrov, Piv-ostrov. Yeah, so Italy lies on a peninsula shaped like a boat or like a boot, who knows. All right, number 2, the Alps are the largest mountain, what? I see the first answer, mountain range, exactly, in Europe, and the highest something is Mont Blanc. And it's the highest peak, exactly. So guys, pay attention, no double E, it's EA in peak for mountains. Okay, number 3, Britain's history was largely shaped by the fact that the country is, it's pretty easy. Only one word starts with a vowel. So it's an island. Yeah, острів. Okay, good. Number 4. Norway has the longest something in Europe because of the fjords. So fjords, they move deep into the land, and it's a coastline, берегова лінія. So it is really, really curved, and that's why their coastline is super long. Yeah, good, берегова лінія, coastline. Number 5. The world's largest offshore oil fields are located in the Persian Gulf, exactly. So, and when we speak about San Francisco, that is a bay. So, let me explain the difference. So when we say the word Gulf, it's actually Zatoka, or sometimes Zaliv, we can meet it even like that. And bay is also Zatoka. But geographically, in English, bay is smaller and Gulf is bigger, and usually with deeper waters. So that's the difference. Gulf is bigger. Number 7, the water around some word horn, and that is cape. Cape is miss, like the furthest point of some I don't know, island or continent. That is Cape Miss. Okay, nice work there. So I think we can finish there, but wait a second, I have some questions for you. So let's answer them together. And first of all, tell me please, are situations in zero conditional always true? Yes or no? Yes, so zero conditional is always about real facts, everyday situations, habits, and so on. Number 2, I already see some answers. So situations in second conditional, are they imagined? Yep, they are. So it's always the twisted reality, the opposite to what is true. Number 3, do we use will in if clauses? The answer is no, of course not. What do we use instead? Present simple. Number 4, do we use past perfect insert conditional? Number 4, past perfect insert conditional. Yes, if I had done something in the past, I would have had something else. Number 5, so can we use southern as a noun? What do you think? No, it's an adjective. So just remember, it's a bit, it wasn't mentioned, but when we say north, it can be an adjective. When we say south, it can be an adjective like South Africa, but northern, southern, eastern, western is only an adjective. And number 6, is a bay bigger than a gulf? So the answer is no, it's vice versa, and I'm so glad that you remembered it. Okay, so that is all for today. If any questions, you can leave them in the comments. By the way, I read comments even after the webinar, so you can ask something and I will prepare the answers for the next lesson. So, again, if anything bothers you, you are welcome to ask. Overall, thank you for your great job. You're just amazing, and thank you for keeping showing up. So good luck. Enjoy your Easter. Happy holidays, and goodbye.